doing a brainstorming session of like, can people just like raise their hand or unmute themselves and tell us how are our zones similar and how are we different?
Name does. I'll go ahead and say the consensus, the fact that both are strongly consensus oriented, and the consensus is we want to do more than share information. We want to find ways to strengthen our regions, areas, and groups. So the consensus to be more than information sharing is a similarity, and it looks like actually about the same timeline. So it was about 2012-ish when NEZF really started digging in that we wanted to change. It just took a while to figure out what we're going to do to get there.
Yeah, that's true. We've sort of been evolving on the same kind of timeline. As I look at the two timelines, more active zonal forums, more people seeing value in the zone, and evolving really on similar timelines. Thanks, Dennis. Anyone else want to share? How are we similar? How are we different?
Good morning.
Hey, Clarence.
Hi. Thank you guys for putting this on. I know it took a lot of work and a lot of planning. I actually have how our zones are. I have a question, maybe two or three. I know our zones are similar in respect that we're trying to move forward and have everyone involved with our members, you know, not just the RDs, RDAs, RCMs, but we're trying to get our members and get them better informed, which is a good thing. So going forward, you know, I'm a member of the Autonomy Zonal Forum, first and foremost. I'm the RD from Greater Philadelphia region. And I have a couple of questions. One is, we talked about saying fellowship development, the Fellowship Development Committee. I don't know if that's going forward, that's something that we'll discuss, but I'd like to have a little bit more information about that committee and how that works. And is that something that you do on just a zonal level? And I know each region should have fellowship development. So we're a little behind in that respect as far as my region is concerned. I can't speak for the other regions in my zone, but I know our region is a little behind in that. And as a new RD, I would like to get some more information as to how I can possibly put that in the works. And I know it'll be a trial and tribulation with the COVID going on right now and everything being on Zoom. But any information I can get would help me going forward. The other thing would be, I said it on some of our PR meetings that you guys had, and I think your PR is excellent. So going forward, picking the brains of people with PR and how you guys go about doing what you're doing, contact information, you know, how which company you use for billboards or bus stops, or you know, any of that information, I would appreciate. And I know your zone is much larger than ours. Your zone covers a large area, so any information I can get would help. And before I get off, I have to say this: I work, and I have to go to work today. Unfortunately, the time that I work is the time that everyone meets. I do 3 to 12s and then 11 to 7s, so I miss a lot of meetings. But that's the nature of the work that I do. And I just want to put that out there. If I don't show up and I have to leave early today, as I said, I have to be in at 3. But thank you for putting this on once again.
Thank you, Clarence.
Yeah, thanks, Clarence, and thanks for your questions. And you know, it sounds like there's one related to fellowship development and one related to PR. And I wonder, Chris, it looks like you're here. I wonder if you'd just like to spend a minute describing what fellowship development is.
I'm an addict named Chris.
Hey, Chris.
So fellowship development currently in the Northeast Zonal Forum and now working with the AZF is largely based off of a HRP, human resource pool. So that'll end up being more of a project-based service as requested, right? So we have on the NEZF website, we have a link that brings you to the fd.nezf.org. On that page, you'll see the HRP input form, the NEZF service request form, and how those two work together is you would make a service request and we pair you up with a member of the HRP to work with you to help try to fill those gaps in service that we have. as we move forward, we're going to be talking about what services can we deliver on an ongoing basis, such as delegate trainings. That's one of the next workshops here. That the next workshop will be gathering information to host a regular delegate training. So as we progress, we're going to be talking about the exact services that specifically a zonal fellowship development will be providing. At our next meeting in November, we'll be having that discussion.
Thanks, Chris. And I think, to your question more broadly, Clarence, that's exactly, your questions are exactly what we want to talk about here today, which is, I think, a nice segue into the next segment, which is going to be Craig discussing what collaboration might look like. So I'd like to maybe punt to the next section, but it looks like maybe.
Yeah, before we do that, Sam, Nancy's up.
Yeah, go ahead, Nancy.
Hi, everybody. I'm an addict named Nancy. So thank you. And this might probably, based on Sam's last comment, be more relative to whatever the next section is. So I don't know if everyone here is aware that there are the services that New Jersey provides through shared services are statewide geopolitical boundaries. And we have an area in the state of New Jersey that's part of the greater Philly region, which is part of the autonomy zone. And also in further north in New Jersey, we have a lot of groups that are part of areas, the Little Apple area, and in Pennsylvania that are part of. So this collaboration is important to us because we are the region that borders both zones. And for us to, if we really wanted to focus on some of our southern areas, it would be really beneficial to collaborate with Greater Philly because Camden and South Jersey overlap. So we're all in favor of this, but and Dennis had put a comment in the chat that said something about a recent update with NEZF. So is that now in our guidelines or something? Did I miss something? That the collaboration is noted in there. So I wasn't clear about that, but I guess more will be revealed in the next segment.
Yeah, totally, Nance. And
Okay.
I think what Dennis was referencing was at our last zonal call, we expressed willingness to allow AZF members to attend our FD and PR subcommittee meetings.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's all that was, and so I think that we'll continue to see those mesh points among zones, and I think it's even more important given Tri-State moving to the Midwest Zonal Forum, which means that the state of Pennsylvania is now in 3 zones.
Wow. True. Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's all we're all here to discuss what collaboration looks like. So I think,
it's all fluid. Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Right.
Craig, do you want me to give you the floor at this point?
Well, before we move into the next section, I did want to, Kelly is on here, and Kelly is representative from the Southeast Zone. And just quickly, Kelly, just a little bit about differences, similarities, since we got you here, dude.
My name is Kelly. I'm an addict. Sorry for crashing in on your guys' gig here. And I really wasn't going to share, but some people have been asking me to kind of just throw this in here to the pot with what you guys are, working with. Southeast Zonal Forum about 4 years ago decided to centralize BMLT root server. And based upon that decision to centralize a root server at the zone that benefited all our regions, it removed the complication and the maturity level of technical people that were trying to manage about 7 root servers across 7 different regions. But another thing came along coincidentally that was a benefit is that as soon as we centralized the root server at the zone and was managed at the zone for the benefit of the regions, an application called YAP was reached a level of maturity that it could be deployed in conjunction with the BMLT root server. And what that did was immediately provided through Twilio or some other service area helpline service instantly. Across every area of every region in our zone had a phone line service to manage helplines and how to find meetings. And so I'm not sure if how mature, or how, not mature, but how, I know that when we went to the Western States Learning Day, Western States Zone was talking about that, had rejected that idea. But then when we did the workshop Saturday morning, and the team had created a temporary Western States Zone root server and gave a full demonstration of the power and the utility, they said they were going to be deleting that Sunday night. And when they saw when they saw it was there and it was working, they begged them not to delete it. And then they recently decided to go ahead and centralize their root server at the zone that benefits all the root servers in the Western States. Some may be transitioning, some may not, but I just wanted to throw that in for the what we are doing and what benefit the zone is providing our regions in the Southeast zone. And I'll step back and just observe for the rest of it.
I'll just say one more thing, which is like our region, who's recently transitioned to BMLT and YAP, thought about putting together our own root server, and we blew it up, and we're on New England region's root server. So we're already starting to see some of that multi-regional stuff happening within our zone as well. With that, Craig, do you want to take the floor away?
Yeah, and Kelly, thank you for being here and sharing that. I do know the AZF has been, we've had some discussions about doing the same type of collaboration with Southeast that we have entered into with Northeast. So more to be revealed on that. All right, so the next section, we're gonna talk about collaboration. We're kind of throwing this word around and not always have a common understanding. And common understanding to me doesn't mean that we all have the same perspective. It doesn't mean that we're all robots and we think alike. That's not what that's about to me. A common understanding is that we, you know, from the basics, we have clear just kind of definition of what that means as far as NA service goes. It doesn't mean we all have the same ideas about how to do that, for sure. I hope not. And so we have some like core kind of things. So before we even go into a little slideshow about this, I want to do a quick icebreaker and then just ask you guys, just anyone. So, you know, when you think about what your perspective of collaboration is in both zones and all the stuff we've heard up to this point, what do you imagine that we could do as far as collaboration between our zones? And no, there are no bad ideas. This is just quick, like little icebreaker. What do you guys imagine that we could do? And if no one raises their hand, I can call on a couple of people, but I know you guys are active. So, you know, what do you think we could do? Bob.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on to what Bob said, because I think that service symposium is a great idea. And I think because now our two zones are working in collaboration with each other, and COVID has us all locked down basically right now, if in the collaboration that we do together as zones, that we can start thinking about a service symposium right now, so that when we can meet face to face, maybe we can have a plan in effect where we can say, okay, we're going to meet this time, this is where it's going to be, just going forward. I think that was a great idea. I think now would be a good time because, you know, we're locked in with Zoom and we can communicate and see how that would look once we come out and actually meet together face to face. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Clarence.